So basically the Bible says do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The Buddhists, including the New Age Buddhists, etc., the Hindus, talk about karma. But yet, people don't understand the people who designed the world actually hate them more when they do what they say. Women basically sold out the righteous and threw them under the bus. So every time a guy looks at them, they know that if they did the right thing, that they would shun and abuse them. Whereas if a woman did the right thing and she made herself really attractive before they started to sabotage her, tons of guys would put on a cape and wouldn't shun them. Okay? Very few people miss that. We look at Donald Trump. It's a perfect example of why I'm right. He said that once you're a celebrity, you can just put your finger in their pussy and they just let you. Is that a respect for women? No. Okay? He's laughing about it with another person who's important in your society. When you're a corporate groupie bitch, you basically elevate politicians and trash like that. And so he's like, ha 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 ha, right? They're that fucking stupid. He's talking about two chicks. He's talking about prostitutes or strippers only? No. He was talking about females in general. Okay. When's the last time you heard someone say that they're the descendant of Romans? I've basically never heard anyone say that in my life. Because Romans were at such a low kind of, such a lowly reputation. You know, they were orgy, death cult, Jesus killing scum. Nero, you know, Caligula type of filth, okay? Very, very few people openly give them respect because it's like giving pedos respect. Speaking of pedos, I'm going to put on the screen. In the UK, I believe it was, they busted 70,000, or they busted a ring with 70,000 pedophiles. Now, how many of them were arrested? Which ones? The pedophiles that you were mad at because they didn't let you push their kids or something? Those are the ones that got arrested. The other ones, you know, were coerced into continuing the activities of the deep state. Remember, this is just one ring. It doesn't represent all the pedophiles of the world. There's massive rings of pedophiles, and that's what sex cults are. Sex cults are groups of criminals where the massive rings of pedophiles tend to be at the top, and they groom. That's what child grooming is. As part of how they recruit, they groom them at an early age. In fact, the cultures in society in general are for child grooming. When I say trickle down pedo energy is what people are in, that's what they're in. Okay? Look at this guy, was a Corey Feldman in Hollywood. He said all these Hollywood guys were raping him and no one did anything. It's a pedophile-run society. Okay, Epstein and them is just one small grouping compared to the massive groups in society. Depending on exactly what you say about Epstein is how much they crack down on you. If you say things like what I'm saying, and you get persecuted for righteousness' sake, okay, if you're in the divine order at least. If you're not, you're starting to know what it's like to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, but you're cheating me out of my right to lead. So these people, right, they see the technology the gang stalkers have. They see the directed energy weapons, mainstream news. They see mainstream news that they're hacking your brain. They can read your mind. You know, they put advertisements where they put the message in your brain. Sounds like the voice in your head. Mainstream news. Okay. And then they look at their kids and say, hey, when they have kids, that's them. They're using their kids as an excuse is pathetic, right? Instead of breaking the cycle, okay, and taking a stand and getting your kid to do the same, they're saying we're going to keep reproducing pedophile puppets hooked to the matrix. Now, can you imagine being the most righteous man ever, and you're being rejected by attractive women who have decided in their dark, twisted hearts to continue to reproduce puppets and soldiers for pedophiles, who, more often than not perhaps, will be pedophiles themselves. Okay? That is despicable. And they put a special emphasis on making sure every attractive female is their bitch. Okay? Now, if a female doesn't even bother to be attractive, it is nearly impossible to love someone who doesn't even love themselves enough to try to make themselves attractive for when they make love to somebody, you know, for the possibility, for when, if it ever occurs, for the, you know, for on the off chance that if it ever occurred, or on the good chance, perhaps, depending on how you look at it, how you define love, that if they were going to make love to someone, okay, see, they're feeling me, make it harder to articulate. So ninnies who make it harder for the righteous guy to articulate. So what do? They exploit the poor. They mass drugging, mass murder. 9 million people starve to death every year. 433,000 people are raped every year. Mass incarceration. All these horrible things they do, and they're going to hook your kids to machine too. And if anyone does the right thing, they're going to fume them. If your kids do the right thing, they're going to target them and fume them and poison them more, and so on and so forth. Okay, you're better off taking a stand right there and then. So you see why God chose me and not any of you? You're not capable of making that decision. Hey, I'm taking a stand right now. I do the math. You don't do the math. You just keep going. Why the hell would God choose you or your